Today in Bible videos, we're going to learn about the story of how God raised up Gideon. Are you ready to learn more about Gideon? Let's get started. Once again, God's people turned their backs on him to worship idols, so God allowed the Midianites to treat them badly for 7 years. Whenever the Israelites were ready for harvest, the armies from Midian, Amalek, and the people of the east would attack Israel and destroy their crops. They arrived on camels and they stayed there until the land was stripped bare. The Midianites were so cruel that the people of Israel hid themselves in the mountains, caves, and strongholds, and God's people were reduced to starvation. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord for help, and God sent prophets to tell them not to worship idols, but they did not listen. Then an angel of God went and sat under the great tree at Ophrah belonging to Joash. Joash's son Gideon was threshing wheat at the bottom of a winepress. The angel greeted him, saying, "Mighty hero, the Lord is with you." And Gideon saw the angel and said, "If the Lord were with us, why have we been handed over to the Midianites?" And the Lord's angel said, "Go with the strength you have and rescue Israel from the Midianites. I am sending you." And Joshua said, "My clan is the weakest in the tribes of Manasseh, and I am the least in my family." But the Lord replied, saying, "I will be with you, and you will destroy the Midianites as if you were fighting against one man." And disbelieving this, Gideon asked for a sign. And Gideon asked the stranger to stay while he went to prepare food. When he bought fresh bread, broth, and freshly cooked goat's meat, the stranger asked him to put the meat and bread on a rock, then pour the broth over it. Then the angel of the Lord touched the meat and bread with the tip of the staff in his hand, and fire flamed up from the rock and consumed the meat and bread. And then the angel of the Lord disappeared. And Gideon exclaimed to himself and said, "I am doomed. I have seen the angel of the Lord face to face." And the Lord said unto Gideon, "Do not be afraid. You will not die." And that night the Lord gave Gideon instructions to carry out. And with the help of 10 servants, Gideon took one of his father's bulls and pulled down his father's idol of Baal. And they cut down the pole his family used to worship the idol Ashereth. Then he made an altar to God and placed the wood of the Ashereth pole on it and sacrificed the bull to God. The next morning, the people of the town were furious to find the idols that had been destroyed. When they discovered Gideon had done this, a mob gathered against Joash's house demanding Gideon's death. Joash confronted the mob and asked, "Why are you defending Baal? If Baal truly is a god, let him defend himself and destroy the one who broke down his altar." From then on, Gideon was called Jerubbaal, which means "let Baal defend himself." Soon afterward, the armies of Midian, Amalek, and the people of the east formed an alliance against Israel and crossed the Jordan, camping in the valley of Jezreel. And the Spirit of the Lord took possession of Gideon. He blew a ram's horn as call to arms, and the men of the clan of Abiezer came to him. And he also sent messengers throughout Manasseh, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali, summoning their warriors, and all of them responded. But Gideon still had doubts about taking on the might army in the valley. So he prayed to God and said, "Prove that you're gonna use me to rescue Israel in this way." So now I will put a wood fleece on the threshing floor. If the fleece is wet with dew in the morning, but the ground is dry, then I will know that you are going to help me. And the next morning, the ground was dry, but the fleece was wet with dew. But Gideon still had doubts. And he said, "Please don't be angry with me, God. Let me use this fleece for one more test. And this time, let the fleece remain dry while the ground around it is wet with dew." And the next morning, there was heavy dew on the ground, but the fleece was dry. Now Gideon knew the Lord has chosen him and his small army to deliver the Israelites from the 135,000 enemy soldiers camped in the valley of Jezreel. The end. And I hope you had fun learning the story of how God raised up Gideon. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more Bible videos. Bye.